So you know what? I've not made a video, or at least not uploaded a video in ages. I figured what better way, got my hot water bottle there, so I've got a bit of a tummy ache. What better way to make a triumphant return than a bit of classic MMORPG news? So what we've got is Throne and Liberty open beta. We all know Throne and Liberty's up and coming, right? It's the next big South Korean MMORPG that's been published by Amazon Game Studios, and it's coming globally. It's coming to the West real soon. I just wanted to give my thoughts on this a little bit. Not of the actual quality of the game, because I've not played the game and I've not massively followed it. I'm definitely going to play it when it comes out, but I just want to give some people a little bit of a harsh dose of reality on what to expect from, you know, a macro perspective of where the game's gonna go. This is a resource I've used for many years to determine whether or not a game's going to be successful or not in the West, and it's not really failed me yet. So people, I'm going to go through Reddit comments here, by the way. That's what this video is going to be, as well as show you some statistics from the Korean version of the game, and why I think the game's probably going to be like a classic played the game for a month and then the game's dead MMO launch, just right off the rip, with a spoiler for you for what I'm going to say. And the reason for that is the game's completely flopped in Korea. Like, I'm talking big time flop, more so than a fucking fish out of a pond. You can see League of Legends is always going to be the big dog in South Korea. They fucking love a bit of League of Legends and Valorant, FC Online, FIFA, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Lost Ark's always been, you know, there and thereabouts as like the biggest MMO. It released, it didn't do well, it fell down the rankings. And by the way, these stats are the PC Bang stats, which is about as accurate as you're going to get in terms of like what are people in Korea playing, what's successful in Korea for the video games. It's the PC Bang rankings. So the biggest MMO is Lost Ark, then MapleStory. Fucking love MapleStory still in South Korea. And then there's a whole bunch of others. Obviously, when Project TL came out, Throne and Liberty rather, I can't get that out of my brain. It was up there, you know, it was in like the top 10 or something. Well, it's now 43rd in the PC Bang rankings and just going down. It's got less players than Elden Ring. It's got, by the way, it's in a PC Bang again. It's got less players than Mabinogi, Apex Legends, Dota, which is, you know, not very big in Korea in the first place. Black Desert's higher, Lineage 2's higher, Warcraft 3's higher, World of Warcraft, Lineage, Aeon, Dungeon Fighter, which is Dungeon Fighter. The game's not done well. It's right next to Elsword, guys, in terms of how popular it is over there. And this is probably going to continue going down. They don't like the game. The game's been a pretty big disappointment, and it just doesn't, as far as I can tell, do anything that's going to keep people around for the long term. At least not until they do a massive amount of content updates and things like that. So what I'll always say is what you've got is a Korean game made by a South Korean developer for a South Korean audience, tuned to a South Korean audience and how they play. And then what you've got is Amazon Game Studios publishing the version to the West, and it's just their version designed for them. So there's obviously sometimes a little bit disparity with this idea, but I'd say it's 99% of the time kind of one-to-one, which is if you make a game for an audience and that audience rejects it, there's not a lot of times in the MMO industry where you then take that game to an audience that's less accepting of the things that you've built the game on for that audience, and then they just, you know, really like it and make it way more successful than it was originally. It's very obvious the difference between like Western designed MMOs and Eastern designed MMOs. So this coming over here, Amazon can't really do much about, you know, the basics of the game. It's developed by another company. They don't own that company. The limits in publishing a game on what you can do are very, very low. There might be some slight tweaks to like the cash shop and stuff like that, But as it pertains to the actual gameplay, anything that's coded into the game that would require a separate code base to make better or worse or whatever for a Western version is essentially impossible. So the game is unlikely to do super well. So I'm just going to look at the comments real quick to pad this video out until we get to the golden 10-minute monetization mark. Just going to be completely honest with you. We're going to read Reddit threads, see how people are reacting to this on the MMORPG subreddit, which is always a good laugh because they don't like MMOs. I hope Throne and Liberty does well insofar as I'm going to play the game. But at the same time, I do recognize that most of the time for the last 5-10 years, that when an MMO comes out, it's fast food, it's junk food. You play it for a couple of weeks, you're not having a 7-course fine dining experience. It's mostly just something you're going to eat and forget. Wasted fucking nothing burger calories. Maybe you'll have a couple of weeks of fun, but that's kind of it after you bought your $150 Founders Pack or whatever it's going to be this time. So, top comment on this thread. This game has trash monetization and gearing, but let's be honest, guys, it's gorgeous and we're all starving. Man, what an apt summary. Well done. Yeah, perfect. This is a great time to be releasing an MMO because MMOs, I remember, let's take it back for the ad. Come on, guys, let's go back for the ad revenue. I remember like a decade, 15 years ago, it seemed like there was a new MMO launching weekly. Obviously, they weren't all big, huge blockbuster games, but there was always something new to play. And I thought, as time passes, with better technology, better understanding, better out-the-box networking solutions and pre-made assets and game engines getting better and things like that, that we'd see more MMOs and better, higher quality MMOs. But what we've actually seen is kind of the consolidation of power in the MMO industry, where before it was WoW has most people, and then there's a bunch of smaller games, loads and loads of smaller games. And then now what we've got is 6 big games ranging, Albion, RuneScape, Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2, Elder Scrolls Online, Black Desert Online, World of Warcraft, things like that. And then just fucking nothing comes out. And then it's a bunch of classic servers and private servers. But we don't really get a lot of MMOs launching. You just never hear about them. So obviously getting something like Throne and Liberty come out, it's like a once every couple year experience. And everybody's going to play it. Even if you know what to expect. It's going to have shit monetization. It's designed for Korean people in a Korean audience where they have super grindy games, super PvP focused, whale focused. Loads of people are going to come out and say, oh, it's not pay to win, because actually to pay to win you'd have to spend loads of money, so therefore it's not pay to win, like what people do with BDO or the classic, oh, you can earn everything in game, so therefore it's not pay to win if somebody spends 10 grand and is way further ahead of you or whatever. I don't know what the specifics on this one are. I just know if anybody tells me this game doesn't have shit monetization, I'm going to say you're a liar and then play it myself and then figure out that you're a liar, because I've never played a Korean MMO that doesn't have shit monetization. So you're not going to pull the wool over on my eyes and tell me that this is the one that just does. So yeah, we are starving. Everyone wants to play MMOs, so people fucking will play MMOs. Think about it, guys. We should be happy it failed in Korea, because whatever works there doesn't work here. There's a chance. Does he mean whatever works there does work here? Or is he just saying it's just 100% gonna fail? Which is where I'm coming from, from the stats, it's going to 100% fail. So this comment's actually kind of interesting, and I guess I could try to explain it a little bit. He says, it's wild to me how different gaming is there. Russians, Americans, Japanese, GTA did great in all those countries, same with Dark Souls and so on and so on. Meanwhile, the Korean games industry is so unique to itself. What works in Korea doesn't work elsewhere and vice versa. It's so odd. I wish someone smarter than me would explain why. Someone says cultural differences, grinding and lucky RNG is seen as positive because that they show dedication. Also, probably the biggest factor is people don't own home computers as much, and if they do own them, they don't play on home computers. Culturally, PC bangs are huge, and obviously if you've got PC bang, what have you got? It's a computer with pre-installed games, so all games are free to play mostly. So when you're a Western developer, Blizzard did this with Overwatch. When you make a game that has a box price, when you take it to Korea, it has to be free and you have to monetize it differently, which means changing, development and how you're going to make money from it, making partnerships with PC banks to get like promotions for people to play them. So obviously big AAA single player games, people don't buy them by and large, because they're going to be playing it on a computer that's not theirs, which means they've got to download the game, and maybe you're allowed to do that, maybe you're not allowed to do that, whatever it's going to be. So there's been no big, single player industry over there for games, because they know how their audience plays, which is in PC bangs and slot computering, basically. Go in, pay for an hour, and play on somebody else's machine. Obviously, if they had like a big audience of people that are playing at home on PCs, there'd be more success of big single player games over there. But obviously what sells GTA, at least predominantly, is the single player campaign. GTA Online is probably a little bit more popular over there now. I don't know, because you can download that as like a separate version of the game, right? But either way, that's my understanding of it. So I guess that's an explanation. I don't know if I'm smarter, but I have looked into this at least a little bit, enough to understand that much. This is really interesting. There's an event in 4 days when they're announcing some significant changes to the game, such as showing off the new continent, improving traits and combat. Amazon were in Korea last week, so they've presumably seen those changes in action and feel it's now ready for our market when bundled with the great changes they've been putting out weekly. I don't know if I'd say it's great changes. Again, I've not been following the game, but obviously if the game doesn't recover in Korea, the chances that it's just going to come out here and fucking just be a crashing, smashing success is it's just foreign to me as an idea. I just don't think it's going to be the case. One last milking in the West before shutting down. I probably wouldn't go that far yet. It's probably still a profitable game, plus it's cost loads of money to make and license, so they're probably going to run it for quite a while. If New World didn't shut down, guys, this is probably not shutting down for a good while. From what I've heard, the game was not well received in Korea, their target audience, but I probably will still check it out for at least a week. After playing it for the last couple of months, I feel as though the West was the target audience, not Korea. Interesting. It doesn't play anything like any of the MMOs that have been successful there. So there are people saying that, they're developing it now for the West. I don't think that makes sense, and I'd love to see that be the case. But people said this about like a bunch of different games. They said that about Arcade fucking years ago, and see how that one turned out. It's entirely possible they have done that, but you're telling me a publisher has somehow managed to convince them to just stop making all the money in the domestic market where you get all the money, and then obviously we're going to be getting a big split of the profit, and you're also going to change the game to work to make that less money instead of doing it where microtransactions are more prevalent and you get all the money. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me, like financially. It also doesn't make a ton of sense to me considering I've seen some of these like partnership agreements and stuff, not for this one specific or for anything relating to Amazon. Maybe they've had the good sense that, it's failed in Korea, so now we're going to try and make it good for the West or whatever. But this just seems like the same hopium we saw with things like Bless Unleashed and Bless Online, when people were saying, it's changed, it's better now. And not saying that this is going to be as bad as those games, because fucking nothing really can be. But I just wouldn't believe into the hopium that this is going to be different somehow. So these are the dates: open beta July 18th to 23rd, and full release September 17th. Launching so soon after War Within. Oh yeah, that's right. It's going to be difficult to even find the time to play, to be honest, because I'm going to be playing World of Warcraft, as I always do for every single launch. So yeah, that's about all the interesting comments from the threads. Either way, as always, I'm going to hope it does well, because more MMOs is always good, more competition, more innovation in the space. I just, having seen where this game's come from, and having seen the stats from like the Korean player base and how people have received it, I have seen some content creators that are excited about this and have played the game and are like super into it or whatever. But I'm going to trust like stats more than I'm going to trust some content creators' opinions. And obviously once this comes out, I'll play it. Maybe I'll super love this as I super loved like the beginning of BDO or whatever. I have a love-hate relationship with Lineage 2, and we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I wouldn't be, betting the house on this one, going crazy nuclear and thinking that this is going to be like the next big main game for you or whatever else. Wait and see, as always. Could be completely wrong, but there we go. Thought this would be semi-useful for some people to temper their expectations and go in with their eyes wide open. But either way, thanks for watching as always. Go buy Gamer Sups. You can buy, not this one anymore. You can't buy this one anymore because it's been discontinued. I don't even know if I can show you. It's got a picture of Joe Biden on it, and they apparently got a letter from the Secret Service saying stop selling things with Joe Biden on it. So I have a limited edition, I guess, that you can't get anymore. But either way, you can use the link in the video description. It's a powder. You put it in water, you shake it, you drink it, you get waifu cups, you do all that stuff, and you can get a discount if you use my code. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.